What's going on, people? It is the Blue and Red Banter Podcast with me, your host, Nicholas Prostakis, and your boy,
Sebastian Verdesoto.
So, on this podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about why we're the fans of the teams we are, and a little bit, and today especially, why we're supporters of those clubs, and maybe this season. It'll be mostly about how the seasons are going to progress, how the players we think are progressing, and we'll do as well match previews for what teams we're going to think, what the match predictions were going to be, and overall match reactions as well after those games happen. So, Sebi, tell me a little bit why you became a United supporter.
I became a United supporter because of my dad. He's from Ecuador. United had a young guy, Dona Valencia, right before the end of the Fergie era. Loved him. My dad loved him. That's why I became a supporter, because of him.
You say young, but what was the last time you heard his name, first of all, in the world of soccer?
I mean, he retired 2020, 2019.
So think about it. He
was there for 7 years.
By that he was there for a really long time, and he was a bogey player you'd always get in your first FIFA team, like FIFA 15, bro. He had 89 pace, and he'd always be able to you always be able to put him down that wing.
You should have seen him at the end of his career. I mean, he was jacked.
Jacked.
Right back, he was big, bro.
I think you're thinking of Angel Preciado, the current right back.
No.
The guy who beat the hell out of the guy on in the Czech league.
Valencia.
Did you see that video, by the way? You're getting off topic, but did you see that video of Preciado attacking the guy with the corner flag?
No.
I'll have to send it to you.
We'll watch that later.
I'm a Chelsea fan because I lived in the UK for 2 years around middle school time, and during that time, surprisingly or not, I went to one game. That one game being a Chelsea game, and I also went on their tours, in their museum tour. And overall, I love the aspect of the club. I love the chanting. I love everything about it. I'll never be able to experience that again unless I go back there. Insane. It doesn't compare. Nothing compares to it. I don't have that type of thing with a type of player that connected me with a club. After I became a fan, of course, I connected with guys like Hazard. I connected with guys like Ramirez. Do you remember the D-mid, Ramirez, the Brazilian guy? Dude, all he was fast in defense. That guy was crazy. Ivanovic, I loved that guy for that pride. But I never had that certain connection until I really became more of a fan myself. So mostly going into today, we're going to be talking about what it is this team has been basically doing this season. And I know you're not really a happy camper when it comes to United this season, so just looking at the overall statistics sheet, 7 games played, 8 points, 14th place. Looking at it last season, do you know what it was? Just
Remind me.
Oh, you want me to remind you?
Yeah.
You were better than last season.
All right.
7 games played, 9 points, 10th place. So you had one more point.
1 point. Yeah.
1 more point. So you should be maybe a little upset. I don't know if you could be upset by that. 7 games played for Chelsea, 14 points, 4th place this season. Last season, 7 games played, 8 points, 11th place.
So,
dramatic increase for Chelsea. But starting with you, what is there to be happy or maybe be negative about right now?
Well, last season I was saying Ten Hag needs his time to really settle in with the team. It's his first full year. He's got his year behind him now. You would think 7 games, you might have about 15 points or so, right? I guess not. I mean, he got his summer signing. He got rid of some dead wood. Some older players looking a little better. Maguire's looking better than he was 2 years ago. Diallo's actually performing. Garnacho settle in. You would think, Rashford didn't miss the Euros. You think he'd come back with some vengeance? I mean, it's either up to the board or the managers, the players, but something around the team in general is not it.
Going into this season, it was like you thought it was maybe going to be a step up because you're seeing Dan Ashworth is their, I think, the director of football. You take him from United. Good pickup. The thing is, their entire thing was replacing backroom staff and then having those guys replace players or bring in more players that Ten Hag will use. And especially you're thinking about the Dutch connection. I think that basically, how many of his signings have been Dutch related? Firstly, Anthony.
He got Ligt. He was there. Ajax.
Xerxes now.
Xerxes.
There's a few more. Lisandro Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's got to be more than that. Van de Beek,
Definitely.
I think. Van de Beek, you remember him?
Was he signed under Solskjaer? He was under Solskjaer. He's Dutch. He was signed under Solskjaer, but he just never played because he was like, oh, this is gonna be like a long-term kind of player, and then he just didn't play, and they got sold off.
All the Dutch connections. That was
Yeah.
what I thought firstly. But like they tried to improve their backroom staff, and from the signings that they made, you'd think that it was going to be an improvement, but when the coach doesn't know how to coach the guys, I think that there's a problem when it comes to players.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys say Ten Hag is a small, like he can't handle the big guys. He's an academy coach, but I mean, these guys aren't even like that big of names yet. I mean, they are, but they're not even. They're like under 24, all of them. Like, come on, you gotta be able to handle. At least the new signings.
Well, your captain is like what, 29, Bruno Fernandes. We'll talk more about him in just a second, but he's had a little bit of a rough 2-week spell.
Yeah. So.
And then you're probably your most notable player name-wise is Casemiro, which is not something you'd probably want to hear about your team right now.
Yeah, no, he's
that guy's
big underperformer right now.
Yeah, biggest fall off ever, especially when his wife sent out that thing that was like, "Oh, do you have this many trophies as me?" Well, like you're that's in the past, but
yeah,
that's in the past. We understand you're defending your husband. That's not helping. That's not helping his.
That's not helping his case at all.
That's
no.
not helping his case out. So, personally, I'm not really sure how to. I grade. Is it good to can you grade him yet so far? Like, is it possible to grade him yet?
Well, I know I've talked to you about this before. We're just about 10 games in.
Yep.
First 10 games.
Small sample.
It's pretty easy to slip up. You could start slow and finish strong. That's how I'd want to do it. But I mean, until I guess December, I mean that will really justify Ten Hag situation. But if I had to grade us right now, 10 games in, I mean 3-0 to Liverpool, just beat Fulham by a goal, tied to Aston Villa. I would give us maybe like B-.
Really?
C+.
Really? I wouldn't even give him that. You're doing worse than last season. I couldn't give him anything that high at all. Personally, I understand where you're coming from, though. You want to give a guy time.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's had, I think, about 2.5, 3 years now to make a decision and get the most out of these players, I think the main player that's part of our team is a good way to put this is Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy was basically tortured as a United player. Big money signing. He comes into United. He's just not part of the system because he's not the player that I guess Ten Hag wanted. But like, why would they bring him in to be used for nothing? But now look at Sancho now.
It's crazy.
3 assists in 4 games in the league, I think. Not going to make an assumption. I think that's what he has. And he looks like a ridiculous player now.
I mean, I know I've said this before. When they signed him, I didn't think they were going to be able to use him anyway because United have been known to just destroy great signings. And obviously, like I said earlier, it's just something about the club because if you can perform, sometimes, for United, but then you go to Dortmund halfway through the season and get all the way to the Champions League final and then go to Chelsea and he came in, got an assist in his first game?
Yeah.
20 minutes? I mean, it's not him. It's clearly not him. It's obviously the club.
I wholeheartedly agree, dude. I think you also could say basically with Ronaldo it was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ronaldo back in the club, stated all the problems and like how nothing had been changed when he got there. And then what is
he
it,
just
Ten
banished.
Did Ten Hag come in or was he already there?
I think Ten Hag came in.
Ten Hag came in and he's like, yeah, I don't want Ronaldo.
Yeah, I mean,
Ronaldo got sold for pennies, and since then it's basically just been like a forest fire.
Pretty much.
So, honestly, basically how we're just talking about how it's only Ten Hag these problems. This is just saying if Ten Hag were to get fired or sacked during the season, I'm assuming my assumption is it's going to be sometime late November, or maybe we play you guys in I think mid-November.
Mm-hmm.
So it only makes sense if he gets fired after the game with you. I'd much rather him be coach against us with
There's a better manager.
Style,
yeah.
free win. But if he were to get fired, who do you think your main choices would be as a
All
coach?
right. Let me just spitball a couple names. So I got number one. My number one choice would have to be Zidane.
Okay.
Number two, Xavi,
That's fair.
and then I got a just out of there manager, Joachim Low,
That's so crazy.
out of there.
That's so crazy.
All right, and then two more who I don't really know too much about, but they have gotten results, relatively positive. Would be De Rossi and Massimiliano Allegri.
You know, it's interesting that you say De Rossi. I just don't know that United would give a guy who's only had one job, especially.
Yeah,
It's hard to just predict that. I mean, you could say Chelsea brought in Maresca after he's only had one job, really.
Mm-hmm.
Championship manager. We'll talk about more in a second, but I think that if any of those names made any sense, it would be Zidane.
yeah.
I made a list myself, and Zidane's on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't see it. Joachim Low, first of all, is a ridiculous statement. He's in.
I only said him because he's actually out of these names. I mean, he's coached Germany. Like, it's Germany. Like, come on.
Well,
It's
he's
a big team.
recognizable name, I guess.
Exactly.
So, but the thing is, like, I can't see a world that. I understand. I guess you could say he's a high-profile manager.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that he's a high-profile manager for the reason being that I think he coaches in Belgium right now.
Oh, he's just a name.
I think he. Off the top of my head, I think he coaches in Belgium right now.
Like, I mean, you know this already. Tuchel would have been great.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
He's on this list immediately.
He would have been right under Zidane. Either Zidane or Tuchel, one of those two. But
So the
No-
names
no more.
I have written down are Nagelsmann,
I didn't think of him.
Zidane, and then I have Van Nistelrooy, the assistant manager,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like they might just like make him interim for a little bit to see if it works out, and if it doesn't, they'll just can his ass.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna say this name for last. The other one I have is Edin Terzic. You know who Edin Terzic is?
No.
The guy who was Dortmund manager last year.
Okay. Champions League.
So he left himself or something, or like there was a discrepancy or something with him and the board, and he left like himself. So I feel like maybe they would give him a chance. Champions League finalist, I don't know. And then the other one I have is Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank. He was Brentford.
Brentford. He's Brentford.
Brentford.
Right now. And that's
Brentford
why
right now.
I said I called Thomas Frank because one, he was connected with Chelsea job this season,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it almost made too much sense not to say because that's who you guys play this weekend, or tomorrow, I should say. So it's like it's like a test. It's almost like a test for the coach, so we could like see how that adds up. We'll get into the lineups and everything for that later and how we will say it, but personally, I think that of all those names, I think that you'd want Nagelsmann the most. But I don't know if he just signed a new contract with the German national team.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked pretty damn good in that Euro before they got canned by definitely the best team in Spain.
Yeah.
But to be honest, dude, this is a really bad job market. Like, really bad job market. Like, there is not a lot of free agent coaches or coaches that are going to be willing to move. Like, the best free agent coach we named is Zidane. But, like, would he even coach a team well? The only team he's coached is Madrid.
That's what I have written down. I mean, anyway, I could look good coaching Madrid.
Dude, I feel like I could get fourth coaching Madrid because they would just need like a formation and be able to play it, and then they'd be able to.
They just need someone to fill in the position. They'd be
like
fine
I could tell them
themselves.
just play the same tactics as the former manager, and they'd be able to play.
Exactly.
I mean, dude, that guy had Ronaldo, Bale, Benzema up top. Like, you can't be that difficult to be a coach, dude. It can't be that difficult to coach those guys.
Yeah, no. I mean, but he was under Ancelotti for a bit as assistant, so it's not like he wasn't just there for those. That was like what 2-3 years he was there.
I think he leave and then come back too.
I'm not too sure.
I think he was the assistant coach or something in their development system. I think he was like their B team coach, and then they made him head coach. He left, and now he was head coach again. Now he just hasn't coached since like 2019 or something. When
Ronaldo left, that was it for him too.
Maybe it proves something.
maybe.
It proves something.
But yeah, no, Zidane definitely. I mean, I could go on and on about how he could help. And plus, I feel like because he was a midfielder, he kind of understands how to control the middle of the park, and that's what United need. Is
Like
control in the middle of the park.
Trying to, I think with especially because your most important player, I think to build around is Kobe Mainu. I think if you're trying to build something at all, it probably should go through him first. And I think you can't say he's a similar S type player to Zidane. That's a little crazy.
Oh yeah, that's still too much.
He's like what? He's like 20 years old. Manu, not even. Is he still 19? I don't know if he's like 20 yet.
U20, yeah, definitely.
He's so early in his career, but I feel like the longer he's on your team, it's only going to get worse and worse. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many players that United have had that were so good, so young, and then they just stay United, and then.
Off the top of my head, who can we think of that? Marcus Rashford's looking like that now, dude.
Rashford's looking like that a little bit. Dude, Martial, when he was actually real good.
Injuries derailed his career, dude.
Yeah. Who else?
I'm trying to think.
I mean, Van de Beek. He was great at Ajax.
He was
a solid player.
Did he ever play good with United though?
I remember a game I watched against Newcastle. I think they beat him like 3-0. This was COVID year. I mean, he was like running through everybody. He's a solid player. Like he knows what to do.
They sold him for like $500,000, dude. You bought him for like 40 million or something like that.
I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. They just buy these players. I mean, they got rid of Palestri too. He came through their academy. He was okay.
He never even got a chance.
He never got a chance to. But he was playing for Uruguay.
You have interesting players. It's not like you don't have players that are not capable. I mean, you have players that are definitely have broken through. Like you're saying, your attack right now. You have Diallo, you have Garnacho, you have Manu, you have options. Like Bruno Fernandes is not a bad player.
No, definitely not.
I think confidence is a problem with your guys' team right now. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, Rashford has been underperforming.
Mightily. He's a confidence player, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, once he gets one or two, he kind of gets going. But then you look at someone like Garnacho. I mean, I feel like Ten Hag just hates the guy. He just refuses to start him. He comes in the last like 30 minutes and bags a goal, gets an assist. I mean, I don't know.
What was that clip he had in the Europa League? I think it was in that Porto game when you guys went up 2-0, and then Rashford got subbed off at halftime. And then he was like, well, we needed to save him for the weekend. Like, what kind of response is that, bro? It's like, we needed to put Garnacho. He said, like, we need to put Garnacho on, and I need Rashford for the weekend. Dude, you're not playing on the weekend. You're playing right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's incredible. Like, Rashford scored 2 goals, I think, or had a goal and an assist. Like, guys, and you take him out at halftime? Like, that's how you kill a guy's confidence, dude. If the guy can't start, if he starts and then he plays well in that first half, like, why would you take the guy out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like you're cutting off his blood, his bloodline. I mean, you want him to score, and then you take him off when he scores twice to save him for.
It's almost like you're begging for the media to keep shitting on the guy. Because let's think about it. The longer that the guy plays bad, I think we've seen it before. He played an entire season. What was it? I think it was 21, 22 is when he had that really, really bad season. And the year after, he scored, I think, like 19 goals or something. So he had his confidence. He kept doing this dumb celebration.
Yeah.
So he's if he's not at running it all or cylinders, bro, like he's not going to do anything. He doesn't have the what is the I guess it's not professionalism.
No, he's definitely professional.
He's a professional, but is it like on the field? Is it a professionalism thing?
I don't know. Maybe it's just like just a mentality kind of thing.
Mindset thing.
Just
if
a mindset.
Not playing well, I guess he's not a guy who wants to recover the mentality. I guess.
I mean, you've seen like his posts and stuff like on Instagram or whatnot, saying like I'm gonna be back strong. Like when he didn't make the Euro squad, he said, it's how it is, but I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna make the team again. So he's definitely eager to play good, like obviously. But I don't know. I mean, it's something you see in his face, Just, I mean, he kind of performs. You get to see in like his like posture in a way,
Especially for a guy who earns $350,000 a week or something. Like,
yeah, he's been earning that much for like 4 years now. There's no way it's like anything new to him. He can't be like struggling with that,
He might understand that he has to prove for that money because that's a lot of money, dude. Like that's like up there for one of the highest earners. Like it's probably up there for one of the higher earners in the Premier League.
Probably.
He probably is your highest earner on the team. I don't know what Casemiro earns, but he's got to be around $300,000 as well. If I had to
Something like
assume off the top of my head, it's definitely amongst the same.
Mm-hmm.
But jumping away from United, I think we've spent enough time on United and their backstory and where they're at right now.
Gotta get to the lousy Chelsea.
This Chelsea team. What can I say about this Chelsea team?
Chelsea's looking good.
Dude.
Looking good.
Enzo Maresca has rejuvenated this team. However, of course, you could say the first challenge of the season's coming against Liverpool.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I don't count the City game as a challenge because it's our manager's first game as a professional coach for our team, and I just don't think it's worth giving the guy,
any hate for.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to hate him and call it a challenge. I think it's like a warm-up game. I mean, it's possible to penalize the guy for that.
He still did good. It's not like they did bad.
No, because they
still did great.
That's like the 84th minute in that game, and then Kovacic scored that second wonder goal.
Yeah,
that, was such a savable goal, but it's in the past now. But the thing is, we were playing decent in that game, especially you saw the tactic in work, you saw the players in work, especially after that horrible preseason we had. It was like, wow, it looks like a little bit of a different team. And then since then, haven't really missed a beat, haven't lost a game since that City game. Actually, we did lose a game. We lost that Servette second leg game.
Oh yeah,
that's right. Oh my God, I forgot it. We've lost the second leg to Servette and almost didn't go through in the Conference League.
I mean, they were probably just tired of the flight and the train ride.
Dude.
They were probably like, it's Servette. Whatever. And then they lost, and they're like, wow, we should probably stop slacking.
But otherwise, Chelsea have been incredible this season. In my opinion, we're seeing some of the players play. We're seeing Cole Palmer is still the best player in the Premier League. Best player in the Premier League. Right now?
Right behind Anthony. I had to include that one.
He's got 100 minutes played on the bench, dude.
He's 007. 007. 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 games.
When he scored, I think the 2 goals against that non-league side, I was like, he's coming back.
He's been back.
Dude, ever since that game, ever since he scored against, what was it? Cambridge. Who'd you guys play? Barnsley?
Something like that.
You guys played Barnsley and
Backyardians.
Oh my God, he is something else, that guy. But his replacement, Jadon Sancho, has showed why he's a better player. But overall, honestly though, just speaking a little bit of the Chelsea team, 2 years in a row we've had underperforming seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You had the infamous Graham Potter season where he finished 12th place. Absolutely dreadful season where it was just like so much was going on. I think it wasn't a change in ownership. I think it was the previous summer it was the change in ownership. But it was a ridiculously bad season. And then he had to deal with that insanely large lineup. And the year after,
anybody go mad.
He gets sacked. Lampard comes in. Then you get Lampard's awful that year too.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get Pochettino, and you have one of the weirdest seasons from a team ever. 6th place, a semifinal, a cup final, and he still gets sacked after a really good finish. But injuries were probably the reason his season derailed as well, maybe. But then you have Maresca, who basically is sailing the ship like it hasn't even been destroyed.
I mean, yeah, those injury guys, they came back, which helps.
Guys like Nkunku, guys like Colwill, who didn't finish the season. Once you get all those players back, it's almost like a little bit better. There's one player in particular I'm looking at right on my sheet right now that hasn't played up to standard, I think, for how much he was bought for. And I know you have a grudge against this nation because of your...
I know who's coming. I know what's coming.
His family, bro. Enzo Fernandez, bro.
Yep.
He's like the one guy. And I saw this today. There was a thing, they posted it. It was Enzo Fernandez playing when he plays for Chelsea and when he doesn't play. When he does play, Chelsea have like a 36% win percentage. When he doesn't play, it's like an 86%. Like, they supposedly are a way better team when he doesn't play. But then you have to remember, he was there for the last 2 seasons when he played for Greg Potter and Pochettino last year. So there's a lot of mixed results in that time period. I mean, dude, during Potter season, we scored like 36 goals. That's it. We were so bad that year.
Yeah.
So, you have to remember, he played for some really bad teams, this Chelsea teams, these last 2 years. So you have to remember, it's a different quantity. Because it's like he played 60 to 20. So it's like
that's fair. Yeah.
It's not a fair comparison. But when it comes to him, he's like the odd man out. he still doesn't really function well with this team, especially because of how Caicedo, the guy you love.
That's the only reason why I want Chelsea to do good. Is because my man Caicedo. Only reason. Everybody else can go lose.
He's been something else. I mean, he's proving. At first, the price tag got to his head, dude. Absolutely got to his head. He was, I won't say horrible.
I mean, he got a red card his first game, right? Or a penalty.
He came out with like 20 minutes left and committed a penalty, which gave them a goal.
Yeah.
So I think that had part of it. But Fernandes has just never looked up to scrap with Caicedo. Like, they've been a double pivot now for the last, I guess you could say, a year and a quarter, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you could say a year and a quarter they've learned to play together. But it only really looks like Caicedo has maybe became the only guy understanding how to play.
I mean, the only problem with Caicedo that he has, I mean, he's not really an attacker.
No.
Not at all. You know, you give him the ball 25 yards out, he's probably going to miss.
Like a box-to-box. But
He's like a Conte.
Conte's a proven box-to-box. Moises Caicedo wants to be in goal.
Exactly. Yeah,
so
definitely.
Enzo Fernandez wants to be like
Like a false nine.
Fabregas. That's a really good way to put it. I think Cesc Fabregas, if he could turn into him, dude, hell of a double pivot that would be.
Yeah.
Insane double pivot. But the thing is, Fernandez is struggling to find like even a position because like he'll attack because they'll want him to attack, and then he'll just not be able to do much about it. Like he'll attack, he'll go forward, and then they won't play him in a 10 role, and it won't work. And then they'll play him in a 5, like a defensive midfielder, and he won't be able to do it. And then he'll play alongside Caicedo. But that's why now we have this 3-2-4-1 structure, which is you move one of the left backs in the midfield, and it creates the pivot that way. And that's why him or Cucurella or Gusto have been playing a lot better. Because it's like, now I think Enzo's basically just by himself. But he hasn't even looked outstanding in a way this season.
I mean, I watched a lot of the Copa America, and I think because he plays with Messi and, that great team, he looks so much better. Maybe it's just who they're playing against, perhaps.
I also think the plumbers that they play in South America
Yeah.
have something to do with it.
I mean, they played Ecuador. We didn't have no plumbers.
That's interesting. You guys made the quarterfinal. You guys played against them.
Played Argentina. We would have beat them, but that's a whole different conversation.
Enzo Fernandez as an Argentina player versus being a Chelsea player is a totally different player. Like you could see it. Like he's able to roam free and do whatever he wants as an Argentina player. In the Premier League, I guess maybe it's a bit more fast paced. Would you say?
Yeah, a lot of back and forth.
I think the transitional play doesn't fit him. Transitional play is so hard for Enzo because I think that he doesn't have that stamina to get up and down the field like other players can. Maybe.
Yeah, Argentina they can cut through long spaces that's what so easily.
Number one passer, that's what he is.
That's
his number one ability is to get the ball. He's a long pass merchant, I guess you could say.
Yeah, like 3-4 passes that team gets right through you.
I think that he was amongst the top performers in that game they played against who was it? Bolivia? I don't know who they played the other day, but they beat them 6-0.
Yeah, Bolivia.
6-0. And he was one of the top performers, I think, on the team. But Messi had 5 goal contributions, so
it's pretty easy to look good.
You're not gonna be man of the match, especially when you have him on your team. So
yeah.
But overall, it's been an incredible season. Just overall summing it up, I couldn't be any more happy with Enzo Maresca so far. I don't think there's a single negative thing I can really say, except maybe defensive allowed goals being a major negative.
Was it Brighton that they kind of slipped up a lot?
We allowed... Okay, that game was basically because of Robert Sanchez and him just kicking the ball straight at his former teammates.
Yeah, that was bad. But he came out...
That was problems we saw last season, and you basically saw mistakes like that happen from our center backs and goalies all the time.
Yeah.
So, I'm really... thank God we haven't really seen that a whole lot this year. The one that comes to my mind is when Fofana tried to pass it back to Robert Sanchez, and he just completely whiffed the ball, and Sanchez had to tack the guy out and he gave a penalty away.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen many of those really bad problems this year, which is something I guess you could say is an improvement. Overall, the defense has looked better because the transition gets back better or easier, and it's not Poch. What can you call it? Poch chaos ball. I guess is a good way to describe it. Chaos ball when there was no tactic. You were just kind of running around and getting it to Cole Palmer FC at that time. So, otherwise, I couldn't be more happy with this start. I think we're on pace, and we could definitely get a top 4 spot with a win into transitioning now, I guess, into the match
Liverpool
preview for this weekend's games.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if we were to beat Liverpool, it would only make it better. I mean, we wouldn't move up any positions, might I add. We wouldn't move up any positions in the table because we're on 14 points if we go to 17, and then I think Arsenal right now are on 17 with City. Because Liverpool have 18 points right now, believe it or not. So we wouldn't move anywhere in the table. All it would do is separate us and make it easier to catch the guys.
That's good, yeah. No, definitely.
But it'd be an insane result. But I'm a realist, and spoiler alert, I don't have us winning this game.
I don't have you either.
But I don't have us losing this game. So
tie.
So I think that's only respectable. But going into this game, I feel like it's, like I said earlier, it's the first test. I think that your game is going to be more of a test than you. As well.
Probably. Oh no, definitely.
I think
definitely. I mean, we couldn't be the little kicks. You know, every game's a test.
Your most distinguished game this season is Southampton.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I give you a number. I don't think Chelsea will win. I mean, is it even like a comparison to say like how Liverpool ran through United? Like, is it even worth mentioning? Probably not.
I don't think it's
probably not.
I don't think we'll get ran through like that.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But I mean, Salah's been.
He's been doing good, man.
He's been crazy.
It looks good on him.
He's looking good. The hairline is transitioning into his game. He's looking amazing. I don't know if Liverpool have any problems right now
They
that I can think of.
The fourth oldest team in the Premier League right now.
That's like nothing really.
We're the youngest team in the Premier League, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, I think Liverpool at home. I mean, when does anyone beat Liverpool at Anfield?
Against Liverpool since COVID.
Yeah,
I don't think that even counts because it was an empty stadium.
Yeah. But if I had to give a number, I'm gonna say 3-1.
3-1.
3-1. Palmer will definitely score. There's no way he doesn't. I think it maybe Salah twice, and then maybe something from Diaz or somebody else. I don't know.
I'm just gonna name my lineup for this game as retrospect. I have Sanchez. There's 2 suspensions in this game. Marco Correa will not play in this game.
It's not good.
So, you're not going to get anything out of him. So Vega takes his left back spot. He's looked great when he's played. Colwill and then Tosin, because Fofana is also suspended because of yellow cards. They picked up like 5 yellow cards already, which is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Tosin takes that spot. Caicedo and Gusto is basically I have it set up as a 3-2-4-1. So Gusto is the guy I have coming into midfield. So he plays right back. Reece James is available. The press conference today labeled that he was available and ready to play. But
it's Liverpool.
I don't.
First game back. Oh, no way he's going in.
I don't think if he does play.
Last 20.
Minutes,
yeah, no, definitely.
15 minutes. Like, it'll be last season when he played against Forest for 10 minutes or whatever and got that assist. But, like, he definitely will not start. There's a chance he might not even be on the bench, which I might honestly prefer. This guy has literally been, you can't say useless. He's literally been unavailable for God knows how long and how many games he's missed.
So he's a 007.
An extra 5.
007, 0 games, 0 appearances in 7 years.
7 years?
7 months.
He played at Wigan 7 years ago, dude. Malo Gusto, like I said, a right back. Caicedo midfield. I have same wingers, Madueke and Sancho. I don't think there's any reason. And then Fernandez basically becomes like the other roaming midfielder. Palmer and then Jackson up top. It could be Nkunku. Both of them scored over the international break. So it really comes down to what the manager thinks in a game like this where it's more transitional, though, because I don't think that Liverpool play a low block. Like, they don't do that. They play
more high press
based style. They don't do that. They play. I think they play kind. It's not. You can't say it's like us, but they play a more possessional. They don't play that stupid gegen press where they just play transitional all the time with like a claw pad.
Yeah.
Like Arne Slot's ball is more of a possession based style. But they will press high. It's definitely going to be a game where I think there's going to be a lot of running. It's going to be end to end.
Yeah. No. Definitely.
So I think this is a game where guys like Fernandez is going to have to show their worth. This could be a game where Enzo Fernandez is going to be actually a useful player.
He's either going to do absolutely nothing and get lost, or he's going to turn up.
So my match result for this game is 2-2.
Okay.
I just think that this game has way too much transitional play in it for there not to be more than 2 goals. I could have picked 1-1, but I just don't see a way that with the amount of these teams attack, it turns out to be
no way.
with only 2 goals. I think it's got to be more than 3, minimum 3. I think it'll be minimum 3 in this game. So 2-2 I thought was fair. Of course, I'd like to win. I'd love to win this game. But, like, I'm a realist. I'm an absolute realist, and I cannot see a world that happens. So, however, after I talked about Thomas Frank earlier, I switched over to this United versus Brentford game.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'll name my prediction, and you'll give me your lineup after.
Yep.
I also have a 2-2 draw for this game. Reason being is because,
United
surprisingly,
suck.
Brentford have allowed, I think, the second most goals in the league this season. They've allowed as many goals as they've scored, 13, which is a crap ton of goals, dude. 13 goals allowed in 7 games is a lot. So it's almost like United have to score in this game.
But, like, how many goals have we scored this season? Like 10?
Oh, my God. I
Maybe
don't think it is 10.
less. I mean,
I
we
don't even know if it's
tied.
10.
We
So-
got like 3 already no goals scored, matches. Maybe
So
like 8.
I have 2-2. What's the lineup you got? Give me that prediction as well.
All right, we got Onana, obviously. Then I'm gonna have to go. I was kind of iffy with my second center back, but I'm gonna have Martinez in there.
Yep.
I would like to give DeLitt an actual start. He's been kind of coming off the
He's
bench.
had 1, but he got benched in that other game. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna give him an actual start. Mazraoui,
yep.
he plays great.
Is he healthy? I don't think he's healthy.
I don't know.
I think he got injured. I think he's out.
Well, hopefully he's not,
If
because
he
he's
doesn't
actually
play-
good. Because he's actually good.
If he has looked good, but I think he's injured right now.
We'll assume he
We'll
is.
assume he is healthy, but if he's not, then it'll be somebody else.
If he is, it's gonna be like
It'll
Johnny
be
Evans.
I don't know if Malacia exists anymore, but
I think he's in like Turkey or something. I don't know. He's in like Saudi Arabia. Yeah, but if he's injured, then they're gonna put like Johnny Evans or something.
oh my God.
We're gonna have 3 center backs.
Oh, even think.
Dalot on one side, obviously, and then I'm gonna have to give Ugarte a start.
Yep. I agree. He keeps
You
playing.
have to. Fernandez, he's got his thing overturned, right?
In the league.
In the league, he
yeah.
did.
In the league,
Yeah.
I think he's fine.
So I'm gonna have to give Fernandez his start, obviously. Mainu, duh. And then for my attacking 3, I mean Rashford has a good record against Brentford with goals, so I have to give him his start. And plus he scored against Porto, so it only makes sense to, keep the wheels rolling. And I'm gonna have to put Garnacho because that's my boy, and he actually scores. And then I'm gonna put Xerxes up top.
Yeah, I don't know. Is Højlund fit? I'm pretty sure you played in that Porto game, right?
I mean, I'm not sure.
I think
I'm not
he
sure.
scored in that game.
I think I'd rather have Xerxes up there though.
Crazy that you'd say that about a guy who has only played a few games in the Prem before, but
With someone like Højlund who went like how many months without scoring in the Prem? He scored a hat trick versus Bayern and then couldn't score against like Leeds.
Yeah, he would score against that.
Like, does that make any sense? I don't know. And if you want someone like Xerxes to actually perform, then you give him his start and you pressure Højlund to get his start. Because he's been there for a year, then there's no excuse to not score.
I think he probably favors Xerxes right now.
Maybe.
Not for like a super bad reason, but I think he probably favors him because maybe the Dutch. I can't just say because they're both Dutch, but I think that the way the system plays, I think he likes a guy who drops deep more. Because Xerxes is more of like a drop deep type of.
Yeah, because like Rashford, Garnacho, they like to take it up the side.
Yeah.
And spread their legs and then cut in.
Højlund always wants that ball in the middle, but when you have Rashford who never kicks the ball inside the box, then it doesn't.
Yeah, no. I mean, and teams like Brentford, when they play, actually any team, I'm saying like lower table, like we're not a low table team. Any team that's like not top 6, they see us and like we're just gonna sit back. because Rashford, like, I mean, how many times did he cut in on his right? Like a million times. Doesn't do anything. Garnacho, I mean, I don't know. He's pretty creative. And then Xerxes, like he said, he drops back, so it's not just like a straight 9. There's no point of having a straight 9 with a team that just sits back. But I do have them with a 2-1 win, finally.
2-1.
2-1.
I think he's only right. I think this is a game you guys should win anyway. In retrospect, you guys should win this game. It's Brentford.
On paper, we should win, yeah.
I don't know. Any game for the United at this point is not a win. I could even say Ipswich United could beat you guys. So,
I mean, anybody could beat us.
Ipswich Town. What am I on about?
Yeah, no, 2-1 only because we have lost to Brentford in the past.
Yep.
It's nothing new.
Yep.
And I don't know, Ten Hag, you think he has something under him, some fire saying we gotta win.
I have a 2-2 draw, like I said, but I think this is a chance. I think if you guys lose this game, that could put
the nail in the coffin.
For this guy.
Yeah.
But I have a 2-2 draw. You guys could easily win this game at Old Trafford. You'll get the fans. Hopefully they'll support you through this one.
Hopefully. I mean, did you see what was it Gary Neville? He's like, "Oh, I'm just tired of supporting United." Just like time and time again. Like he's a United legend, like, and he's tired of supporting. You know what, Gary? Me too. Me too.
But guess what? You're a better fan, and you watch them.
Highlights maybe. I'll turn on the I'll turn on the ad blocker so they don't get any revenue from yeah.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for watching this first episode. Most likely Sunday or Monday we'll release the second one that goes over the reactions to the games and a little bit more information about what we think maybe going into our previous game. Maybe we'll have like a little preview, not like the overall preview, but like a small preview that before that game. But thank you very much. Thank you very much, Savvy, for being here. He'll be here next time, of course. Again, but thank you guys. Comment, maybe let us know what you guys think. Maybe the next one, maybe more information about what you guys think is best. But thank you very much. We'll see you guys in the next episode. See you guys.